When I first saw the ANIIOKI bikes, my first reaction was, is this an electric motorcycle or is it more like a bicycle? After owning it for several weeks, I can say for sure that the AQ177 is punching above its weight class and definitely rides more like an electric motorcycle. If you ever aspire to have a Surron but don't have the budget for it, then the ANIIOKI AQ177 will hit the sweet spot for you. And because of the foot pedals, it technically still classifies as an electric bicycle, so you don't have to worry about it getting impounded by donut-eating cops. The AQ177 outputs a total of 240 Newton meters of max torque, just 10 Newton meters shy of a Surron Lightbeast's peak torque at 250 Newton meters, but at a third of the price of a Surron Lightbeast. I can definitively say that nothing else I've tested in this price range even remotely comes close to the power of the AQ177, and this is only the entry model of the entire ANIIOKI lineup. This immense power is all thanks to the dual motor setup with a 1200 watt peak power front motor and a 1400 watt peak power rear motor. With two motors working simultaneously, the increase in torque is drastically noticeable over other single motor e-bikes. This is made possible by the 52 volt 45 amp 2-in-1 sine wave controller that regulates power to both the front and the rear motors. This electronic speed controller can output a maximum power of 2340 watts, which propels the bike forward at a maximum claimed speed of 33 miles per hour. In my tests, I was able to hit 32.1 miles per hour consistently, which is pretty close to the advertised speed. Considering it was extremely cold during these tests at 38 degrees Fahrenheit, which definitely would have affected battery performance, I think it did admirably well. I do have to note that while under 50% battery capacity, the top speed was reduced to 28 miles per hour due to voltage sag. A small amount of battery sag is fully expected in any battery electric vehicle, and the AQ177 did exceptionally well. The torque of this bike also remained impressively strong even when the battery capacity was reaching empty, which not many e-bike and electric scooters can say as well. The thing that took me the longest to get used to is the delay in the throttle response time. There is what feels like a full second of throttle response delay. When I pull the throttle or start pedaling, a full second would pass before the motors would kick in. This can be kind of jarring and scary in the most powerful gears, such as level 5 assist. Also, when I let go of the throttle, it would continue to accelerate for another full second. You could imagine the horror on my face on my first day as I was speeding towards an intersection, ready to slow down, but only for the bike to continue accelerating for another full second after I let go of the throttle to taper off speed. However, I quickly got used to this behavior after about an hour or so of practicing. Now I'm able to anticipate this and everything feels much smoother. But I feel as a new buyer, you should probably know about this behavior before you purchase the bike. While you could pedal the ANIIOKI e-bike like a bicycle, you could also use the pedal discreetly like a throttle. See here in the video, I'm pedaling the bike, but the pedaling has 0% forward propulsion. I'm not giving it any energy. It's all without any resistance, and the purpose of the spins is to control the throttle, such as maintaining the speed or to accelerate or to slow down, which is really cool. I do this especially when there's a lot of people near me to give them the illusion that I'm riding a bicycle, so they don't call the cops on me for riding where I shouldn't be riding. The next thing that really stood out to me were these huge beefy shocks in the rear on either side of the bike. Coupled with the hydraulic front fork suspensions, the AQ177 should be in theory one hell of a smooth ride. So I took it off-road in all kinds of environments to test the suspension. Right off the bat, I can tell you it's not a downhill mountain bike, so if you ride over a steep bump fast, you're going to fly off the seat. But on shortcut grass fields and even rough dirt roads, the AQ177 rides smoothly and dampens quite a bit of unevenness. Coupled with the 4-inch fat tires with large knobs, these default stock tires provide enough traction to power you through some decent ups and downs while maintaining a great amount of traction. I do recommend the rider to loosen up the shocks slightly when going off-road so it doesn't get too bumpy. for a softer ride. The AQ177 does struggle with bigger, steeper hills though, like this one, which must be at least 35% incline, and I had to get off to push it to the top. Gotta be honest, none of my other bikes in this price range will even do half of what the AQ177 can do in terms of climbing. Again, the acceleration delay can make off-roading a bit hard. You can see here I needed a bit more juice to hit the slope, but the acceleration didn't kick in until a second later while I was already falling to the side, and it gives me power at the wrong time when I didn't need it anymore, therefore causing me to slide. When it comes to off-roading, which is what the AQ177 isn't made to do, it does pretty well for the price you pay with a few small kinks. The range claim is sky high at 200 miles. This is with the ideal conditions such as temperature, weight, elevation, wind resistance, and average speed. However, I did a torture test instead, in temperatures close to 0 and full blasting the throttle on level 5 assist, which is letting the motors do 100% of the work at the fastest speed possible. I got roughly 56 miles out of this bike before it ran out of juice, which is pretty damn good. You can choose to charge the battery while it's in the bike or when it's separated. I like to do it separately in case something happens. It would be easier to throw out a battery than trying to push an entire bike outside. Let's do a little bit of battery comparison. This is a 60 amp battery from the AQ177. This is a standard e-bike battery at 15 amp hours. The ANIIOKI has 4 times the amount of batteries as compared to other e-bikes. On these smaller e-bikes, I get a little bit more than 10 miles per charge for the 15 amp hour batteries while using the motors alone. With the AQ177, I get roughly 4x that range at 56 miles. What's funny is that these smaller battery bikes are about $17.99, which is about the same price as the ANIIOKI AQ177. I think at this point it's a no-brainer to get the AQ177 if you want the most power and range for an e-bike under $2,000. The ergonomics of the AQ177 is pretty good as well. During my range test, I've never felt discomfort. The bike comes with an adjustable seat. The seat has a huge surface area and is cushioned with comfortable foam. Because what's a large battery if you're going to suffer through the super long ride it can do? Coupled with the soft fat tires and hydraulic suspensions, the ANIIOKI feels great on the road and off-road as well. I do have to mention that when I get up to 30 miles per hour, I do hear this vibration coming from the tires. I'm pretty sure this is due to the front tires being uneven or not balanced properly. It should be an easy fix as I reseat the tire. If that doesn't work, I'll probably just get some new tires. The seating position for the bike is completely upright, which is pretty standard. But I do find the brake levers on the handlebar to be overly high. I usually prefer the brake levers to point downward a little bit so I can easily access the brakes. This is easy to do. All you need to do is to unscrew and reseat the brake levers. The AQ177 comes with integrated front and rear lights. The front lights are stylish but do not have turn signals installed. Only the rear lights have turn signals integrated and flashes brighter when the brakes are engaged. I do wish the turn signals were available for the front as well, because where I live, drivers are just as crazy in the incoming lane as the drivers behind me, so it's good to have them for the front of the bike as well. What's also weird is the on and off buttons, as they live on the remote instead of on the bike. You hit the lightning button twice, the bike chirps and turns on. What's slightly confusing is that you need to hit the unlock button to actually turn off the bike. And then, if you want, you can turn on the anti-theft system by clicking the lock button. And lastly, the power button on the handlebar doesn't do anything. So the entire turning on and off is dependent on the key fob that you have in your hand. The LCD screen is super bright even during the day, and all the telemetry data is fully readable, and you can in real time observe the power of each motor that is currently being used. The bike is IP65 dust and water resistant. Remember, it's just resistant, not proof, so I would refrain from riding in the downpour or within a rainstorm. The batteries are UL2271 certified, giving me a peace of mind when storing this bike in my garage or in my living spaces. The batteries also come with a smart battery management system that balances the battery cells and have all kinds of protections such as short circuit or overcurrent prevention. The brakes on the ANIIOKI are 3mm thick and uses 4-piston hydraulic calipers with a 203mm front disc and a 180mm rear disc. These brakes are pretty darn good. Whenever I pull the levers hard, the bike would apply the appropriate braking force to firmly come to a complete stop. ANIIOKI as a brand also does sell an inverter for the battery pack, so you can take it with you as an external battery to power other stuff. And 60 amp hours is actually huge for that purpose. For example, you could power 60 watt TV for 52 hours. If you watch 4 hours a day, this battery pack can last you for 2 weeks. Overall, the ANIIOKI AQ177 is a powerful twin-motor electric bike that rides and behaves more like an electric motorcycle. If you ever aspire to have a Surron but don't have the budget for it, then the AQ177 will hit the sweet spot for you. And because of the foot pedals, you don't have to worry about it getting impounded. The AQ177 outputs almost as much peak torque as a Surron might be, but at a third of its price. It's a hell of a powerful bike for the price that you pay. If you want even more power and speed, the AQ177 is just the tip of the iceberg in the ANIIOKI lineup. In the end, whatever you choose, I'm sure you're going to love the value and performance you get with the price you pay. I'm giving away more than $1,700 worth of prizes. First place is a $1,000 electric skateboard, second place is a $500 electric scooter, and third place is a $200 high-speed full-face helmet. Be a subscriber and make a comment down below between September and November of 2024. May the odds be ever in your favor.